Hello everyone, welcome back again to Spiritual Growth Tarot and Astrology. I'm Denise, and this week we'll be going through, so of course it's your astrological weekly, and we're going to be going through the signs of, with the moon, we'll be changing from, we'll go through Virgo and then all the way through into Sag. So nice. Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sag. So anyway, let me bring the camera down over the table and take you through these charts. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I started the week off at 6 a.m. All right, I'm starting all the charts off at 6 a.m. If you guys want it earlier, like 4 or 5 a.m., let me know. I'll go with the majority. I just felt like maybe people are sleeping in later. Getting over all the heat in summer. Then again, it's still hot where I am, and it may be where you are too. So, nevertheless, you just let me know if you want it like 4 or 5 a.m. rather than 6, and I will adjust. So it's 6 a.m. Pacific. We're still in the daylight time. I don't know if we're going to have savings time or not. I know that there was a measure or a bill up in the Senate, but I don't know, or in Congress. I don't know where it's gone. I haven't checked into it. I wish it wouldn't change. Just put it one way or the other and stick to it. But anyway, the way it is feels a little more natural to me. So this is one of those weeks where some of the aspects will be all week long, of course, and beyond, and I'll focus in on those first. And then there are some that kind of contradict the other ones. So it's going to be a mixture of handling details and doing the healing work is definitely there. I mean, that's the major key that I see. But of course, we're in this backdrop of Pluto sextiling. I'm going with the slower moving planets first. This is in here all week, and rightfully so. It's good. Pluto sextile Neptune, of course, is the power, Pluto power, of our natural internal authority that has nothing to do with anyone else. It's all your own. We all have it, our own natural innate power that is deeply connected to your spirit. And with Pluto retrograde and Neptune retrograde, this time is for understanding that, and also for being very compassionate and inclusive of others. But that could be a little challenging for most people, and I'll tell you why. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I sound like Jim Carrey here. Jupiter has this inconjunct to the sun going on. So now with an inconjunct or quincunx, whatever you want to call it, it's a couple of different energies that don't, energies of consciousness that don't necessarily communicate in the same, going along the same wavelengths. But I feel like we all have those parts within ourselves that are very different. I mean, we all have Aries in our charts. Even if you don't have any planets in Aries, you still have a first house, and that would be that quality of your sense of self. We all have Mars somewhere in our chart, no matter what sign it's in, and that is Aries type quality. So, but with Jupiter in Aries retrograde, we're in the process of healing our belief system as to how we relate to ourselves, as to how we honor our uniqueness, and how courageous we're able to move forward in life and love ourselves through whatever needs to go through, whatever we need to go through on an individual basis. Healing our abandonment issues, healing our need to just always be first, or win, right? If you have a need to win and you have to have that last word, if you have to be the little kid that's like the little kid, because I've had lots of them in my family, and I absolutely love it when they're little and they're like that, because it's like, when they grow up, they're not going to take anything from anybody, and as long as they're kind with it. But it's like the little kid that'll walk away after they've said something, and then they'll say, "Just saying," like 5 years old. So we never want to squash that spirit, right? We just don't. And we may have places inside ourselves that got squashed when we were little. And we are having to shine the light. See, so because this is, this aspect here is happening through Wednesday. And so it's this Aries energy of wanting to be first, wanting to say what you need to say, wanting to move in the way you want to move. Maybe some of it is just that we need to have a little more movement in our lives, and maybe it's been too hot, and now we're going to start feeling like, okay, it's time to get something, done. But then we have to talk over here to the sun, and the sun is shining a lot of light. Now, I can't say which one's stronger. I mean, the sun is, it's our... It's the star of our, of our whole cosmos. I mean, what would we do without it, right? But Jupiter's here saying, okay, the light shining on something, and I'm going to give you the details in Virgo. The sun in Virgo. Virgo is all about healing. Virgo has everything to do with being healthy on whatever level you're working on. Does not like chaotic experiences, is all about divine order, and it's all about, service and being valued for your service. So if you're in a situation where someone's not valuing you, there's going to be a challenge there. And with Jupiter, to me, to go to Jupiter is to always look for my beliefs. Jupiter is always about, in my mind anyway, it's always about, what do I really believe in? Well, in Aries, we all matter. We all are individual, unique human beings. And, take it a step further, unique spirits having a human experience here on Earth. So there's some talking here for a couple of days, right? Or actually a few days, and it's a good opportunity to get in touch with, even though, this one's fire and this one's earth, and the elements don't usually flow together too well, but I like that actually, because Virgo energy will get us to slow down and look at the details, where Jupiter in Aries wants to just go now and get it done, right? Like that kind of thing. And that might not be the right thing to do. We might have a much better experience or a much better result, when we finish up with all the details of Virgo, right? So I actually like that myself. Now, the in conjunct up here to the south node from Chiron is, now this is here all week long. Okay, we have this backdrop all week long. And again, here we are with deep water, deeply sensitive, deeply psychic, deeply transformative Scorpio in the south node. Now, it's retrograde, but, like I try to remember to always say, the nodes when they're retrograde means absolutely nothing, so don't pay attention to that part. But Chiron here is retrograde in Aries, so we are deeply healing those places where we have been, either where we've made mistakes by being too impulsive, and we're healing the past, right? Because it's only in the past, it's only in hindsight that we can heal from the past, and this is what it's about. So with Aries, it's about being impulsive. Again, it's about feeling left out, or feeling abandoned, or the fear of abandonment. Maybe, wherever we need to, we get really in touch with seeing our, fear, but also issues, because with Scorpio, it can be issues with maybe we just wanted an intimate connection on some level, and that's the reason why we were impulsive in the past. Maybe it's about forgiveness. Maybe it's about forgiving ourselves and the other for connections that didn't prove to be helpful, because somehow or another it was hurtful later on. But then again, maybe it is helpful, because to bring up the pain of the past and be able to purge it, which is what Scorpio is all about, that is the adjustment that's healing. I mean, that's the medicine, right? The pain is the medicine is in the pain, and that's how we clear things out. And then once we're clear, we move on. That's why Sag comes after Scorpio. We go deeper, we get in touch with our intimacy issues, our trust issues. Maybe there was a little bit of a false need to have such an intense experience, because intensity can definitely be an obstacle to balancing out our soul substance. Like being an adrenaline type of a person who wants to always be skydiving, jumping off of bridges, bungee jumping, things like that. Oh, that can be an obstacle to your powerful balance in your soul. And we're all here to balance out our souls. That's why we're here in a human body. So, yeah. So that being said, Scorpio can be so deeply transformative that way. And it can be healing crisis issues. I have to say extra prayers of support to all the EMTs out there, firefighters, nurses. This could be a really busy week, right, with Chiron here, or a few days anyway. Because people could be reacting from an issue from the past, and they're trying to resolve it, but they're kind of stuck in these two. Like, imagine if you're here and you want to just go, 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 but this point over here is calling you to go deep and feel the pain and clear it out and forgive, but you don't want to because you want to just go. This spells like a recipe for avoidance. And for all of our beautiful Pluto and Virgo souls out there, that is one of the challenges of being a Pluto and Virgo generation, is that we do need to slow down, or I can't say we because I'm in Pluto and Leo, but you guys do need to slow down and don't avoid. Do your best to not avoid any pain that's coming up. And I'm famous for avoiding pain. When I was growing up, I avoided the parental pain that I was under just by staying busy all the time. The kid that did all the laundry and cooking at 10 started at 9. It's too painful. I'll just start cleaning, that kind of thing. Or I'll just take over for mom because she started drinking, that kind of thing. So I understand it deeply. But Virgo is all about not avoiding anything and doing our best to clear things out. And that's what's so healing about Virgo, and that's what I deeply love. And our Pluto and Virgo souls are definitely the generation that's helping us to heal planet Earth, because it's good. And Scorpio too, the Pluto and Scorpio generation. Libra too. All of us together, we all have to work together, but Pluto and Scorpio separately, with their generation, they have a specific earthly power like that. And as would Pluto in Taurus, but we don't have that. They've crossed over already. I don't think we even have any Pluto and Gemini souls on the planet either. So, yeah, okay. So that being said, healing the past will clear things out and bring the pure power through with Chiron and Aries. And every time we do that, more and more life force comes through, because it's no longer inverted and going in a different direction than it should be. It's going in the direction you want to go. You know what I mean? Because you're not stuck anymore. When you're stuck and you have to heal. And when you're clear, now you can move forward in a different direction. And that does not mean physical often. I mean, everything starts on the inside. So, okay, so that's done there. This other inconjunct here from, well, shoot, when you have Sun square Mars, there's a lot to talk about. So but the backdrop, let me save the moon for last and focus on the backdrop here. Pluto is, you can see how Pluto is in a double trine to Mercury and the Sun. So the powerful essence of Pluto in Capricorn, which of course, like I always say, is Capricorn is your duty to yourself, your self-responsibility, to yourself and to others, the way we spend our time working hard, wanting to be respected is a prime issue with Capricorn. So people aren't going to like it if they're being disrespected or overlooked or just passed by when they've done hard work. So remember that. If you have a Capricorn person around you, or anyone Sun conjunct, Saturn in any sign, or heavy Saturn, anything like that, and they work hard, you better respect them and appreciate them. And they don't need much in order to be appreciated either. They're deeply sensitive. And then again, you have also have those other types. That the negative side of Capricorn is they'll walk over anybody to get what they want, and can be pretty narcissistic, which is what we're seeing in the public sphere. The abuses of Capricorn, the abuses of materialism, the abuse of planet Earth, things like that. So, but with this easy aspect here to the Sun and Mercury, and especially with Mercury in Libra, and Mercury's going to go retrograde next week. So we need to. I think is it on the? Hold on, I have that chart somewhere. What did I do with it? Is it this one? No, those are still last week's transits. Oh, come on! I created the charts already, or somewhere here on my pile. There we are. I have a pile of things to do. So Mercury retrograde is coming in on the 9th at 8:39 p.m. Pacific. Okay? And it'll be retrograde. So when it goes retrograde, it'll be at 8, almost 9 degrees Libra. See it right here. Okay? These are the aspects. I'll do a separate on this one. Or either that or I'll bring it into next week. But it's going to last all the way through to October 2nd, if you can see that right there. And then it'll go direct at 2:08 a.m. Pacific time. And it'll be at, what am I doing? This one right here. The wrong planet. I love that. Venus conjunct the Sun, though. It'll go retrograde back to 24 degrees Virgo. Now, we're going to have to wait for it to get out of the retro shade, which will be that it has to get past, let's say 9 degrees Libra. So we have that period, we've got a few weeks right there. Okay. And so this is the week to get ready for that. Okay? This is the week to get our ducks in order. And so this is why I like seeing these inconjuncts to Jupiter and to Chiron and even to Saturn and the Moon here. I actually really like it because it gets us to slow down and make good choices and create those, because the inconjuncts are always about adjustments. And needing to talk to yourself on all different levels, needing to talk to others on different levels, those that you care to, invest your time in. Now, because of Jupiter here in conjunct the Sun, we are going to have people of differing beliefs, and you may or may not have a good conversation with them, especially because we have Mercury here in opposition to Jupiter, right? Yeah, let's see, does that last all week? No. Mercury, wait, let's see, through Wednesday? Oh, wait a minute. Thursday, Friday. Yeah, you guys. No, wait, this one's Friday. Hold on, does it go all the way through Saturday? Yes. Okay, so that's good to know. So all week this week, we're going to have to be careful of the words we use when we're talking to people who don't have the same beliefs that we do. But if it's kind and considerate and you're just debating different ideas or talking about different ways of thinking, you know, if you're just in the what if, but what if? I hadn't thought about this before. What do you think about that? And if there's an openness to brainstorming, it can be a beautiful experience. But if it's not, and they just want to win because they haven't done their healing work, and they're still, again, coming from the past, right? Chiron in conjunct to the South Node in Scorpio, and if they're just needing to win, if they're just maybe they didn't get a good experience when they said, well, just saying, and walked away, maybe they got beat up. You know what I mean? And if that happened and they haven't been able to heal that yet, then they're going to have quite a forcing current coming out of them. And, you know, whenever someone's got a forcing current coming out of them, that person's going to get the opposite of what they want, right? So if they're really wanting connection and to be seen and heard and understood, but they're going to come at you with this kind of thing, right? You know, like this of energy coming at you. What are you going to do, right? I would go, whoa, okay, see you later. Unless it's one of my family members and they're, you know, if it's a little one, I'd handle it completely different than an adult. You know, an adult, I might tell them, you know, you better back off and just sit down and, you know, talk to me kindly, or I'm not going to stick around, you know, for you to just yell at me and throw your crap at me. That's a whole different thing when they're a grown-ass adult, right? And if it's somebody that's not even in your family or a friend or a loved one that you care about and they're coming at you with this stuff, you're probably just gone. I mean, at least that would be my response. But, you know, I'm not one for fighting. I've learned pushing 70 is you pick your battles. So that's where I'm coming from. If you're coming from a different perspective, honor your perspective. But be careful just so that you don't hurt yourself or hurt others or hurt someone else or get yourself hurt, basically. Because we have the Sun squaring Mars also all week long, right? And the square is, they're both in, you know, very mental signs ruled by Mercury. So Mercury's here in Libra trying to find balance, trying to communicate in a way that sees both sides. That's a saving grace there. But the Sun in Virgo can be very intimidated or feel like there's something bad or wrong about themselves because you've got this person over here that's a motor mouth or has some verbal diarrhea going on, and they've got all kinds of great ideas because they're connected over here to, you know, Mercury. And because of this sextile to Jupiter, again, you know, here's the belief system here, or belief system here, and very forceful because it's in Aries, and they might still be learning like how to handle that much power. Like if it's a little one, right? Like all of a sudden they're talking but they're trying to form words, and I mean, it could be just a beautiful, cute, adorable experience every day if you're with a little one like that. But if it's an adult, they might just have finally found their voice, and maybe they grew up in a home where nobody wanted to hear their voice, and now they're trying to heal that, you know, within them. And if you love them, definitely be there with them in that, because this connection to Mars, the energy is moving and it's forceful and powerful here with this sextile. Yeah, so that's a good thing to know. But we have to be careful with this Mercury opposing Jupiter this week, because the window starts a day or two before, and it lasts. It's exact. You can see how it's 2 degrees here, and it's going to start moving. And when it gets into an exact opposition, it'll be, of course, at 7 degrees Libra. It'll be opposing this 7 degrees Aries and Jupiter in Aries, I should say. And you're going to have to be careful about, because Jupiter tends to sometimes exaggerate, and Mercury in Libra, it just wants to connect, wants to have someone to talk to, wants to communicate something, right? And it could be in that realm of, yeah, I'll do that for you. I can do that for you, because in Libra, it can sometimes be about people pleasing. Well, you might want to be careful. Be careful not to overpromise. The best you can do is say, I'll try. Let me. You might not want to commit with this polarity here. Commitment's more for Scorpio territory, Capricorn territory. Yeah. Virgo too, definitely. I mean, commitment can come through any sign, but with an opposition going on here, we're balancing out, right? We're mirroring and balancing out what could be a confrontation or a conflict. And then eventually a breakthrough will come. But this is, again, it's all week long, because it's in effect a couple days before and then to a few days after, as we're getting through the degrees here. From 2 degrees through 7 and 10, beyond. Because Jupiter's going to just sit there. It doesn't move that quickly. Mercury moves pretty quick. So Jupiter's, sitting here holding space for the truth. Find your inner truth. Find what you really believe in. Which way do you want to go? Which direction do you want to go, with Aries? Trusting your instincts with Aries. Asserting yourself in a very healthy way, but that's also maybe letting go of the need to win or the need to be so bold all the time. And I say that especially because we have this little semi-square here to Saturn. And remember, with Saturn, we're always, well, not always, but we're learning our limitations, and we're trying to master something. And with this semi-square here, there's action that needs to be taken. And so rather than get into an argument, this is when it might be good to just leave the room or go out for a walk, right? And let's see, what else for the backdrop for the week? Okay, so of course, nothing has changed as far as Saturn squaring. We still have the grand square going on, but now instead of the sun, like it was, was it last week or week before, now it's Venus. So now it's about relationship. The light has shone, but now Venus comes through, and it's like, well, what do you really want? Right? Venus is trying to unite yourself with yourself and bring in relationships that are a mirror to who you truly are, to your love, to your light. So and especially with the sun in Virgo, it's gonna show you. You're gonna be looking at ways where you can make definitive type of comparisons. And Venus is all about our self-worth. It's all about the pleasure we want in our lives. It's all about what we really value, what we really like. And in Leo, it's all about open-hearted giving and loving, and it's squaring the nodes, right? So we have a T-square here. See that? And Uranus is there, so it's shaking up relationships, right? Venus square Uranus. Taurus wants to be safe and have and hold. Leo wants to love and express and have a lot of courage, and it's fiery. So earth and fire don't always mix, right? This is why we've got this challenge here. And then it's binging up here back to the south node, and we're thinking in the past, well, shoot, I've been in this in the past, and what happened, kind of a thing. So we have to be very careful not to project the past onto our future. North node's towards the future, south node's the past. And here we are with Venus in Leo going, well, I know who I am much, much more. I know what I want much, much more than I used to. I know what works in relationship for me and what hasn't worked. Am I willing to stretch and be on an edge, and on an edge that's more loving and open and conclusive, and still be safe? And then most of all, Venus in relationship, Venus, the planet of relationship here at the apex, is holding space for trust versus crisis, trust, intimacy and trust levels. Okay, right? Yeah, that's about all I can say with that. I don't know what else to say. Other than if you're afraid to go deep and afraid to have like emotional intimacy, you're not going to be happy in a status quo kind of surface relationship with Uranus here, right? It's just not. It's not going to. You can try it out, and it just won't. You won't like it. Eventually. So okay. So then, with Saturn up here squaring the nodes, now Saturn, of course, is the man, the government. Might as well put the Hierophant right here, right, in tarot. And so we're figuring out all the dirty deeds that were done in the past. And, you guys watch my political videos, know what I'm talking about. I don't need to say it again, but there's a test here. Uranus is squaring Saturn for a reason. Are we going to break free from the rigid rules of the past? And I'll speak to the negativities of Aquarius here, where people aren't treated fairly and we have bigots running things. Do we want that anymore? I don't think so. And I think the last, not the last, just yesterday, I'm reading this on Thursday. What is this, the 25th today or something? Is it 20? Anyway, I just remember yesterday. Yeah, today's the 25th. I remember yesterday, all these Democratic elections were, the primaries were won. It's like, yeah. So things are not normal anymore. That's what Uranus is all about here. And like I keep saying, if we're doing our spiritual work, it's going to get better and better for us. But if we're not, it's going to get the people who are not doing their spiritual work and who are not opening to loving and deeply healing themselves from the past, it's going to get worse and worse. And that's, with Pluto and Capricorn here, yeah. If you're in a cult, basically, it's going to get even worse for you. And you don't have to be an astrologer or a tarot reader or a psychic or an empath or any of those other things that I am to see that. You can use your common sense and figure out that if you're behind a party who doesn't support your basic needs in life and who wants to take away Social Security and Medicare, and let's say you're 50 and you're thinking, what? Oh no, I've worked since I was 18. I've got all kinds of benefits all stored up, and they want to take it away in one fell swoop just because they don't want to do it anymore. Then they're not only screwing you, they're screwing your parents and your grandparents if you're lucky enough to have them alive, right? And forget about any future if that goes, right? So it's easy to do the math there. And that's just one issue. That's only one issue. There are so many others. And none of them honor humanity And that's the key here. That's why we have Saturn in this T-square. I mean, don't you just love astrology? I mean, it's proving itself, right? Here are dirtbag political, so-called leaders, but they're not, trying to, they have been forever just trying to be greedy and keep all the money to themselves. And now we have sex scandals and money scandals and all types of stealing going on, or that have always been going on. But when Saturn was over here, when the sun was over here opposing Saturn, it was like putting a flashlight on that Grand Cross, right? So that's the thing. And if you forget what it is, you see the squares here, but here's the thing. Oops. Just look at this, and then to this, right there, okay? This planet moves slowly. This planet moves even slower. The nodes don't go that quickly. Venus is going to move. So this has been this opportune time to shine the light and to look at the relationships of who's trying to be selfish and go, it's my way or the highway, and I don't care about you. That's the negative polarity of Leo and Aquarius. And then the negative polarity of Taurus and Scorpio is money scandals and sex scandals, creating crisis just because people are selfish. So that's the backdrop. Now, the other things to look at, I think, are going to be, let's see, I'm thinking that they're all here. No, back up. Let's look at the moon here. Let's see how there's a double trine over to Uranus. So some important details, and I know it's a Sunday and it's not a work day, but there's some important details that can come through for breakthroughs that have to do with organizing yourself, getting things really organized for the week. That is on the table, and you will feel like organizing and cleaning out and clearing, and that's especially true with the South Node in Scorpio. And it's especially true with all these other aspects. This is a time of clearing out and forgiving and moving forward. And especially with the sun with this in conjunct to to Jupiter, and then Chiron, and it's in conjunct to the past, the South Node in Scorpio. And then the moon is, well, here, I'll just go ahead and draw it in here. Okay, so the moon has this in conjunct here to Saturn, right? So Saturn's talking to the moon. When the moon talks to Saturn and Saturn is sitting there, the moon's like, hey, I have something to say. I'm feeling, I'm connecting the dots. I am trying to, and especially in Virgo, digest something because I'm seeing a pattern. I'm intuiting a pattern, and I'm trying to respond in a way that nurtures future reality that will be solid, that will manifest. So I need this, and if I don't get this, I know I won't have that later on, because Saturn in Aquarius can solidify something very original. This aspect here, even though it's uncomfortable, can be a way of reinventing yourself, because now you understand what you really need. Remember Virgo, it cuts the wheat from the chaff. And if this spells out, because of this other aspect here, because of this grand cross into Venus, if this spells out relationships that have been very sticky and troubling, I think this is the day where we speak up. And, we've had that new moon, right? So something happened with the moon talking to the sun as the moon crossed over the sun, and now we know more about I'm thinking what we want. Because remember, Uranus and the North Node is here in Taurus. And with the moon and sun in Virgo, now we've got the details about what we want. Taurus is all about what we want, what we need in order to feel safe. It has everything to do with our security and our self-preservation. Sometimes we can get stuck and we don't want to be rushed. But then after this adventure here between the sun and the moon crossing over, I mean, my goodness, you remember months ago when I used to every week look at the chart and go, why is there nothing over here? You know, we had no planets over here except for the sun and the moon would do its thing. And Venus and Mercury, everything was over here on this one side. Well, now things are breaking up, right? Things have broken up. Trump did not get reelected, and he will not get reelected. I don't know that he'll wind up in prison because I think his health will take him out, but he will be stopped. You can bet on that. It's just going to take time. But this, because everything's breaking up, this is our time to do our deeper healing work, because now we're not sitting in this post-traumatic Trump disorder, as Debbie over at Freebird Spirit calls it. Now things are broken up, and we are healing from that PTSD that we were in for 5 years. You know, leading up to him being in, well, actually maybe more than that, because this last year hasn't really been any fun. It's just now getting better, but it's getting better because things broke up. The planets moved and things broke up, right? Mercury, the planet of communication, is telling on things are coming out, right? I mean, my goodness. Classified documents taken to your home? What the hell? My goodness. So that's the backdrop politically, but the same pattern is within all people. Are you deluded or are you clear, right? Are you a sheep that just follows somebody because he was a star? They thought he was a star? Or are you a clear, autonomous being of your own right, in your own authority? And with this aspect to the architect here, and especially with the moon, so this is still, this stays, okay, right? Neptune to Pluto stays, but this won't. This is the moon to Pluto. So there are details that you can feel and patterns that you can make on all levels with the moon in Virgo. And then if that's not enough, it's also Mercury. So we have the mind and the way we connect the dots and communicate and healing all together here, right here. Here I'm doing my little spirograph again. And if that's not enough, Mercury is connected down here to Mars, right? And it's going to get a little tighter. Mercury will get to 4 degrees. Mercury to Mars is, oh, wow. We now we have this connection of, I want to go in a certain direction. I have tons of energy in gathering information, gathering the details, getting the facts. Mars in Gemini is about just the facts. We have so many people working on that, and you can gather the facts in your own life, especially about relationships, whether they're working for you or not, and whether you want to invest any more time in relationships that are not. So Mercury to Mars is talking that way, moving in that direction towards relationships that are open-hearted, loving, and all-encompassing, and of spiritual like-mindedness as well, because otherwise, why are we here? I mean, I know lots of souls incarnate just to be able to learn how to individuate out of status quo, but I don't think they're watching astrology videos, so yeah. Okay. Venus over here in this trine to Chiron is an opportunity for healing, a flow of graceful, easy energy to heal. The 2 fire signs together, right? There's the motivation to heal. Now, if this isn't anything to do with your relationships in your life, it's all then, because it's always about ourselves. It always comes back to ourselves. It is the square here to Venus about how you want to experience life and what you're needing to heal from the past. That's what that square, those aspects are there. And yeah, and then with the sun in conjunct, yeah, I talked about that. I just didn't color it in. So let me move on. That's good enough for the weekly overview. My goodness, 45 minutes on that. That's ridiculous. So for Monday, what is different here with this chart? Well, same aspect here, same square. What is different, what has finally shifted, is that we don't have a square. Jupiter is out of range of squaring the Jupiter. What am I saying? Saturn is out of range of squaring the south node. It's still squaring Uranus. It won't be completely out, though. The T-square, this Saturn squaring the nodes, see, and that's because Saturn's going retrograde this way. It's going to come back in orb. It's still within, even though it's not showing up here on the, with my astrology program, it's still there. It's only 5 degrees. The tension field is still there, but it's broken up a little bit for the day. But we do have... So, like I said, Mars is still squaring the sun. That's all week long. Of course, Uranus in the south node is in opposition. That's for a much greater period of time going on. That's for, well, yeah, I don't know if Uranus will be involved with it all the way through, but we're not going to get to the nodes in the polarity of Aries and Libra until... July next year. So that's quite some time. But same aspects here. Saturn is still opposing Venus all the way through Wednesday. So we still have a couple more days here. That's definitely going to help us with, but then again, Venus has moved a degree past Saturn. Yeah. Exactly 1 degree. So it's waning. Venus is waning away from Saturn, and we're getting more and more clear about the structures, Saturn structures of our relationships and our relationship with ourselves, how we love ourselves. We still have the aspect of the architect here going on. Well, not still. Was it even there yesterday? Hold on. Yeah, to Mercury. Now we have the moon joined with it, so that's really important. So this right here, the moon conjunct Mercury, we're thinking about relating and balancing things out and what pleasure we want in life and relationships, and how do we bridge to others in a way that honors our soul. And our spiritual connections right here. This is really important. Now, Pluto's like the deeper, most absolute deepest recesses of our souls. But the moon relates to our ego and our emotional body that we're, working to always clear and balance out. And we need a healthy ego in order to operate. It's not about getting rid of the ego. You can't. No matter. I'll argue with anybody until the day I die on that one. A lot of people, and it's one of those anomalies, I think, that's come in from Buddhism, and non-dualistic teaching. Now, duality and non-duality, that's a whole different topic. But we're not here to completely shed our ego. We're here to integrate it with our spirit. Let it step aside and let your spirit shine through. But if you don't have your ego in operation, you won't be able to even speak. So there's that. Wow, we have two aspects of the architect going on. So deep spiritual soul connections here, more and more communication here with others, and balancing out, loving relationships there. But then look at this here with Jupiter in the sextile to Mars. So opportunities to move forward from those deeper connections where we can communicate from the heart and communicate in balanced ways. Libra is all about being fair. It's all about, justice and partnerships, making those decisions that bring in what is equal, what is fairness, where's the reciprocity, basically. Now, on a political stage, it's possible that by Monday, or that on Monday, there's some, because Mercury often will bring in news dumps, and Jupiter's all about justice and fairness. So there could be something that comes out on Monday. Because remember, everyone involved has been working hard to get to all those facts. They've been moving to gather information with Mars in Gemini. Wow. Like I said before, the sun is in that inconjunct all week here to Jupiter. Or no, that's only till Wednesday. The thing that's all week is this one here, Chiron to the south node. So again, the reminder on that is about making the adjustments to not come from the past and do your best to stay present, and that will heal that dynamic there. Okay, I think that's it. Let's see, any other aspects with the moon? Oh, yeah, check out this little semi-square here to the south node from the moon and Mercury together. So there's action. I feel like this has to do with, now that we know something from the past, some new actions can be taken. And again, justice, fairness, equality. Wow. Okay. No hard aspects to the sun except for the square that's all week long to Mars, right? So again, man, this is the week, and I always try to, keep this as non-political as possible, but I'm seeing that this has to do with connecting the dots, gathering the facts here, and sharing the information to bring in more justice and equality. Wow. Okay, so let's go to Tuesday. So with Tuesday, let's see, Sun square, Mars, yeah, everything's the same there. Neptune has an inconjunct to Venus here. Actually, if I color things in, it takes longer. So let's just go see how Neptune is here, holding space in Pisces, which is all about compassion and mysticism and being devoted to your spiritual life. And if you're an artist of any type, which, you can just be moving through life, can be an art, right? Devoting yourself to connecting more with your spirit than ever before brings in your power, of course. But now, because there's an inconjunct to Venus, I think that this brings in the quality of needing to feel more heart-centered, that having that connection between, knowing that your connection to your spirit is in your body. It's not by going out of your body and doing all that ridiculous astral plane bullshit that people talk about. That's called spiritual bypassing, avoiding your human life. Venus in Leo is about living a heart-centered life and loving yourself through this physical experience that, you're going through. So, yeah, focusing in on ourselves. Okay, so Chiron to the south node, yeah, all that's the same. The moon here, we've got an opposition, an exact opposition. So we have two oppositions going on here. So the moon to Chiron can help immensely with healing. There can be a breakthrough that comes through today. Now, if it comes through another person, as in a confrontation, go with the more peaceful opportunity and you'll have the breakthrough. Because there could be a forcing current here with Chiron and Aries, a demand. If there's a demand coming through with Chiron and Aries and it feels impulsive from within, go to your peaceful place and be in your peaceful place to work that through. It's about slowing down, basically. If you're challenged to try and please someone for some reason or another, know that you're, well, just question it. Just question it as you go through it. Don't judge yourself for it at all, but just notice that you can feel this place in you where you're doing it, and then ask, like, where does that come from? And of course, it's always something to do with our childhood, trying to get our parents' love and attention and approval so that we can survive, so that we can have pleasure in our lives, because we are pleasure beings. That's who we are in the spirit world. And then here we are on Earth, and it's not so pleasurable all the time, is it? In fact, it's quite painful often. So being in that and then not judging yourself because you're having those experiences, that can be mind-altering, and that can break apart everything that's holding together a bunch of, well, like Barbara Brennan always said, a psychic frozen time conglomerate in our soul. Like those knots in our soul that's just frozen in time because it was painful. And what do we do when we have painful experiences? Do we go into fight or flight or freeze? Those are all these questions, right? Yeah. So, okay, what else? So Mercury trine Mars is nice for the day. There's a nice movement, communication, gathering information, questioning something, learning new things, feeling maybe more youthful. Just be careful not to go too quickly, because there's a lot of energy here, especially in relationships. But then again, Mercury in Libra is, it can be very beautiful. It can just be the best thing in the world, because Mercury's going to, in Libra especially, is going to try, because Mercury just alone is going to try to negotiate. And in Libra, it's about being fair. Mercury can be very rational, and in Libra, it's going to be about, trying to find what works for both. So that can be perfect. This is one of those aspects where I was seeing, like, can seem to be contradictory or feel contradictory, but we all have different parts within. So, you can see things from all different angles. But what I'm speaking to here is that Mercury opposing Jupiter, and it's an approaching, so we're feeling it even more strongly. That can feel like a conflict or confrontation with that opposition. But then we've got the trine over to Mars. And remember, Mars rules Aries. Mercury rules Gemini, right? Mercury's the ruler of the sun right now, or Mercury rules Virgo. So Mercury doesn't rule the sun, but Mercury is, the ruler of Virgo. So with the sun in Virgo, there's a lot of light coming through about the details as to healing any false beliefs with Jupiter there in Libra. And then the opposition here to Mercury to Jupiter, we're able to talk it through. It's like this is great energy. It's a wonderful week for having sessions and readings, going to your therapist, or getting clear, just get really clear on what's going on inside of ourselves. Let's see. The moon is in this inconjunct to the North Node. So with the moon in Libra, so the moon's connecting the dots about relationships, especially connected to the past. And it's trining Saturn, so there's some sobering reality. But Libra to Aquarius, Aquarius can get us to think outside the box about the relationship, whatever it is or was. It's usually both. Relationships are mirrors to what's going on within us. And, and the relationships that we're in, until they're completely healed, or until we are, completely healed, we're always going to be attracting people to help us work out our relationships with our parents or our caretakers when we were younger. That's just the way it works. It's like we always end up marrying our parents until we heal our parental issues, whether it's a regular marriage or just some type of a partnership. So, with that said, there's an opportunity for that flow to a deeper understanding and getting to the place where you can think outside the box, and then break up whatever needs to break up from within that has held this thing together that made you feel like you have to have it, otherwise you're not safe, right? Now this applies too to trying to rely on the government, because Saturn can be about the government, for you to feel safe. We do need to create new laws, and we need to enforce new laws. We need to enforce the old laws as well, the ones that were, that are in alignment with spiritual law. But Uranus is creating new laws for safety, and they need to be implemented too. So, we're talking gun laws, we're talking all different laws that need to take away some presidential powers, I would say, right? How about Citizens United and all the other, all that, these judicial people, don't get me started. The 6-3 problem on the, on SCOTUS, yeah, that needs a change. And this is why this square is still here, and it's going to be here. Saturn's going to stay in this square all the way through. I think it's like the last week in October. I think it's right around Halloween, like that week before Halloween. Yeah, and Uranus is, it's retrograde. That's not going to go direct for some time. I think it's next year. Yeah, it's January. I can't remember the date though. So this last quarter of this year is very important. And then now you can see how with Venus is at 23 degrees Leo, and then Uranus in the North Node, we're in that, and this was even yesterday. Uranus is now at the apex of this T-square, because this is there's a T-square here. Here, I'll draw it in real quick. Oops. So not so much the nodes, but especially, well, the nodes are there because they're holding space, but especially Uranus in this T-square here at the apex over here. Oops. To Venus. So this, out of this triad here, or these three planets, Uranus moves the slowest. So it is in charge, and it's at the apex too. So that makes it doubly in charge. Uranus is all about waking us up. It's about freeing ourselves from something. So it could be kind of shocking, but we could also just detach from something has never been good for us. And it can break things up that need to be broken up. And what do we have here? This dynamic here, because we've got, of course, the opposition all week long, right? Venus opposing Saturn. Or no, actually, I think it's done tomorrow, because look at the degrees here. Because Venus moves pretty quickly, and it's not retrograde. Yeah, I think it'll quit tomorrow or Thursday. Probably Thursday. So, but we'll see. But Venus opposing, the important piece here, Venus opposing Saturn it's a testing within relationship. What kind of relationship do you want? What's your relationship with yourself? What is your relationship with yourself? And how are you mastering your life in living a more living in an existence that's much more autonomous than it ever was, so that you're individuated. Uranus is all about individuation. Saturn likes to stay with the status quo. Uranus is saying, but wait a minute, what about this over here? Those guys are stuck back there, and I don't like it back there. All right? This is Mitch McConnell back here. I don't want to hang out with that guy. I want to be free. I want to be in pleasure. There's no pleasure with those stinky old guys. On any level. Not even a mind meld. There's nothing going on there. So that's in place. And then the other really important piece here with the moon trining Saturn, there's now a flow of, again, like I said, thinking outside the box and getting yourself in a place where maybe you're working through all your people pleasing, maybe you're working through just partnership issues. Maybe you've encountered something in your life that didn't feel fair, and now you want justice, or you want fairness in your life. So I would think, with Mars over here squaring the Sun all week, that you would be moving forward, like we all would. And then Mercury with the trine to Mars still, that's beautiful. I love that. It's much more movement going on physically and mentally, and again with relationships too. And so these are really good aspects, or any type of communication, any type of putting plans into action. And that's especially true with the Sun in Virgo all all month. And all month into next month too. That 30 days through, it'll move into Libra. Well, our first day of Libra, what is it? It's going to be the 21st or 22nd, somewhere in there. Our autumnal equinox, that'll be a really important day. I love it when the seasons change like that. So, okay. Yeah, clearing, lots of clearing going on. That's what I'm feeling. Mars, yeah, sextile Jupiter. Yeah, we still have the opportunity there coming through. So healing, gathering more information so that we can move forward. And this aspect of the architect up here with Mars down here at the bucket point between Mercury. Yeah, definitely. Just like I said, we're paying attention to the details. As long as we're not overestimating our abilities, what we're going to be doing is, improvements, I think, in all areas of our lives. This is actually really good. Like I said, putting plans into action, making plans, putting them into action. This is really good for like work environment, like with your coworkers, or just even things in a household with your relatives and anyone that lives with you, and in your neighborhood even, because that's a Mercury and a Gemini theme quality there. Just really good for any type of communication is what I'm saying. Now we do have an inconjunct here, so see how the moon is having a bit of an inconjunct to the North Node. So again, because we've made new discoveries and decisions about relationship, Now there's going to be some emotional adjustments involved. And that's okay. That's normal. But they will lead you into the future, right? The information that we gather can lead us into the future. But there's so much here in just being present, in freedom in the present moment. And like I said, these other inconjuncts have been all week. Okay, so let's move on to Wednesday. Wednesday, the moon is squaring Pluto, and we have a yod right here. So Venus up to Pluto, okay, and Venus up to Neptune, and that sextile there. Oops, it should have been this way. Sorry about that. This is great, actually. And the sun to Jupiter, that's still there. I don't want to color that in because I don't want to call attention to away from this. So Venus, your self-love, your heart opening to yourself, connecting with your spirit, brings in more power, and that is the adjustment that needs to happen. This is a finger of fate. This is a yod. Okay? That I love for the first thing in the morning. And it's going to tighten up even more. See how Venus is at 24? Let's see. Is it here for Thursday too? Do we have it Thursday? Yeah, we do. We have it for 2 days. Woohoo! Probably not Friday, though. No. No, but Venus to Pluto we still have. Okay. That's good, actually. So almost through the rest of the week. From Wednesday through Friday for sure. Oops. This is the major theme on the table. Learning to love yourself through connecting with your spirit. Venus is here in this time and space. Venus is our self-love, personal love, love of others, personal relationships. Neptune is our spiritual, impersonal love, unconditional love. And when you blend the two, it's very, very beautiful. It's very beautiful. People who have incarnated with Venus conjunct Jupiter are some of the most loving people on the planet and wisest people because they can weigh both, the personal and the impersonal aspect of source energy, of God consciousness, Christ consciousness, of mystical qualities that are otherworldly, that are loving. It's always the source energy is always about loving. And when I say God, I'm just thinking of like the forces of love. I don't think of anything to do with any religion or any organized form of religion coming from other people, unless it's loving. I mean, if your religion is love, then I'm for that. But real love, not enabling love, not not giving yourself away kind of love, not cult love. So, okay, what else? The sun is trining, so that's still going on. The sun trining Uranus, that's actually really good. Especially because it's going to keep going. The sun is only at 8 degrees here, so it's just within that 10-degree orb. Oh, it's actually more to the, well, it's both. There should be 2 lines here. 8 degrees, Uranus, so that's like, 10 to 15 degree orb is good for me, but we've got a 15 degree to 8 degrees, so we have a 7 degree orb here. As the sun moves forward, it's going to get even more tight. So this is going on for the rest of the week. And the sun trining sun trining the north node, and it's actually Uranus as well. There's going to be, I think it's an easy flow of what matters most, an easy flow of reinventing yourself. And then when it comes to work and our service and our health, this is good. This is really good. Mars trining Mercury, that's still in effect, like I said, that's still going on. So connecting all those dots, yeah, good health. The aspect of the architect from Jupiter to Mars to Mercury, that's still going on. The only aspect with the moon that we have this morning is this square. You can see the square to from Pluto over here. Yeah. So the moon in Libra, especially at that ripe degree of 27 degrees Libra, almost 28, wants fairness and equality and justice. And there's a challenge to, I would say, this could be a very challenging day for some dirtbag politicians who haven't been honest in the past and who haven't been loving and thinking of everyone. Anybody who's on the planet and wants something more for themselves than they want for other people, there's something wrong with that soul. And that's a lot about what we have been seeing in the past, isn't it? Now, that's probably the reason for this semi-square here to Saturn, Jupiter to Saturn. So this also is that quality of a politician who might speak up and say, I'm going to do this for you, and all that. But they're coming from hatred, and if they're coming from hatred, and I'm not speaking about any signs or planets here, just a spiritual law. If we're coming from hatred, we're coming from fear. If we're coming from fear, we're in the opposite of love, and what's that all about? All right? And that's that Venus opposite Saturn going on. So politicians with a message of fear that excludes other people in our country, there's a problem there. And that would be the challenge with the square to the moon here. If we're not aligned with what's fair and equal for everyone, that won't be within our own inner integrity as well either. That's the thing. Because we're all connected. Now that doesn't mean you have to save the whole world all by yourself. It's all about the energy and consciousness you send to everyone else. But if you're a dirty politician and you want to be higher than other people and they need to be lower, then there's something wrong with that person. Therefore, their message will really be messed up. And you can hear it. You can hear it when you hear it. You know what they're saying or not saying, which can also be just as revealing. So yeah, okay. So that's it for Wednesday. So Thursday, let's see. Like I said, we still have the yod going on. So everything I've said before still applies. Chiron, yes, that's still all week. The moon has caught up to the south node in Scorpio. So this is a deeply transformative day. Look at that. So the moon on the other side of the north node. So the moon's going to come in and illuminate something from the past that is in the process of either healing or transitioning into coming. Because if you've done enough healing work, this can be one of those aspects that brings in your past life gifts. And of course, we'll have this opportunity every month. But the thing is when it's conjunct the node there, we have the opportunity every day to come in and heal as we do our healing work in the present tense, we bring in our past life gifts. That's just the way it is. That's what Chiron's all about. But anyway, up here to the moon opposing, see how the moon's at 10 and it's going to keep going this way? And it's going to be in exact opposition to the north node, which is the future, right? So past life gifts, opening illumination to your past life gifts brings you into the future in sharing and freeing up your human experience in the present time, moving into the future. Present time and moving into the future. And see how the moon's at 10, but as it goes this way, it'll be in exact opposition to Uranus, and there can be some major breakthroughs, major aha moments. I love it. Now, the moon's also sextiling the sun, so there are opportunities to shine your light. This could be in your work, your service, your health, bringing in more divine order. And this aspect of the architect here with the sun at the bucket point here, I love it. It's like pulling from the past and giving to the future, and you just sit there and shine your light. And that, at this point, somewhere between Thursday, Friday, and in through Saturday, it feels to me like that will be the strengthening. Now, the square here is a tension field from Mars to the Sun that we've been in all week, Sun square Mars. But what can happen when you work within a tension field for long enough, it turns into a strength. And then it's no longer such a tension field or a challenge. It's an absolute strength that you hold, and it's holding your life together in a certain way. Because you have stronger, healthier boundaries, and you know who you are. And you're not going to let people mess with you, your integrity. It just doesn't, you're not doing that anymore. And the sun, with this sesquisquare to Pluto, is, well, for some people who want to be stubborn, it can be challenging. But for other people who are, more attuned to just going with the flow, working with details, this can be a really, really good day here. The sesquisquare is not so bad. It's just that you can kind of ignore it even sometimes. But if it's in a natal chart, it's something, you'd really pay attention to. But just as a daily, it's a little like a square, it's a square and a half, but it's not, it's just not as intense. I feel like it's just going to be like not a big deal at all. But here, this confrontation here can be intense. So whatever emotional healing work you need to do, healing on the emotional body, the time is ripe for it. Let's see, anything else as far as... No, that looks pretty good there for Thursday. So Friday comes in, and you can see that the moon has crossed over. It's now at 24 degrees Scorpio. And like I said, it's even gone past the exact opposition to Uranus. So some breakthrough for between Thursday morning and Friday morning has happened. I can't wait to hear what it is, you guys. Let me know. And celebrate even the smallest things, okay? Let's see. It is squaring Venus. It might be that there's something to do with a relationship that, and it could just be your but your relationship with yourself that is just as important, because everything is from the inside out. But there can be a newfound strength that comes through after a little bit of a challenge with a relationship, or, like I said, an aspect of your inner relationship that you've been working on, and that's been the tension field too. And always is. It's always about our relationship with ourselves. Everything stems from that. Again, that Sun sesquisquare Pluto is still there. Is there anything different? The moon is in a sextile to, and it's going to tighten up even more throughout the day, to Pluto. So opportunities to be more deeply, I love this, more deeply in touch with your soul, with your authority, with your inner authority. This is fantastic. Wow. Especially with all this inspiration that we've had, throughout the week. Wow. And so now you can see how Saturn is back in touch with that square. See, so it was just an aspect by minutes, but now we're back to that backdrop. I knew it wasn't going away. It's just it's like a mathematical thing in the astrology program, and it's just you just pop out 1 minute and there went the aspect. But the moon's involved in this T-square. So this is deeply transformational. And Pluto is in this sextile to, well, of course it's been sextiling Neptune, like you said, and that's going to stay for quite some time. But then bringing in the moon, and we have this little bow tie kind of thing going on up here. So the moon is trining Neptune this morning. This should be a really good morning for meditation and for definitely, well, every day is good for paying attention to your dreams. But this morning you could be waking up into something deeply, really beautiful. Some deeper awareness that is bubbling up from your soul to help you heal. And then we also have, so Mercury trining Mars. Like I said, it was going to go, it's moving up to that exact point, almost there. That's a nice flow between, the movement of information and kind of like mind meld with relationships that you want to be with. And then the aspect of the architect, so we have the sextile here to Jupiter. Notice how we have 6 degrees here, 7 degrees here, and 6 degrees here. So Jupiter to Mars would bring in that movement. Mars is movement. Jupiter is about your belief system, and Jupiter is about healing. And then up to Mercury, all about communication, all about the way your mind works. You may wake up, have some dream awareness, write it down, and then later on during the day and during the morning especially, integrating and realizing, wow, I really love how my mind works. Look how I connected those dots. That's what I'm seeing there. Everything else is the same. The sun is in that trine to and it's moving into a tighter trine. Right here. To the North Node and Uranus. So again, of the flow of information and clarity and making distinctions with the sun in Virgo to the new that you want to create in your life and the future. There's a nice connection here between the present and the future. And then Venus is still in that square, or not still, Venus is in square to the moon. It wasn't square to the south node, but that's gone. It's just Venus to the moon now, because they both move quickly enough. So again, a relationship with yourself, or a much clearer, deeper relationship with yourself, that may cause relationship problems with someone else if they're not in alignment. Yeah. And then, of course, the opposition here still going on with that too. And remembering that relationships are mirrors. So if you're not feeling met, then you're not being mirrored. And it's time to just, meet your own needs and then move on and make room for someone else who is there for you on those deeper levels. And this, would be friendship or deeper, or even relatives. Some of them can just suck up a bunch of your time and always just want more. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, so Venus in conjunct Pluto. Yeah, there's the adjustment there. Again, so yeah, this is This is a major relationship day. I mean, in relationship with yourself day. From Venus here with that in conjunct, and then of course this has been going on all week. That from Chiron to the south node, because Chiron doesn't move that quickly, and neither do the nodes. So again, this healing from the past that needs to happen, this individuation from the past, especially if you've been in a controlling or an abusive relationship, it has to go. You have to love yourself enough to get out of that, or at least be making those steps. And then that little semi-square from Saturn to Jupiter, that's still there, same. Okay, what else? Saturday. The moon's in Sag today. Let's see, Sun square Moon. I'm seeing that to Mars. So Sun's at the apex. So, okay. So Mars is at one end, opposing the Moon. Moon opposite Mars can be quite confrontational, quite combative, and especially when it's squaring the Sun. So we've got a T-square going on here. So this opposition here will bring in a confrontation between truth versus lies. And it might just be that you discover a false belief within yourself, because remember, we still have, this is going on, this in conjunct, I'm not going to draw the green line there, but Chiron, that in conjunct there to the south node is about healing the past. I've said it 12 times already, I think. But check out this Jupiter, which is all about beliefs, your beliefs. Trining the moon in Sag is all about getting to the truth. And the moon is also trining Chiron, right? So there you go. That's a lot. So the moon in Sag, so the moon, of course, connects the dots. It attaches to the truth when it's in Sag if you want to go there, if you want the truth. It's the quest for truth. Jupiter rules Sag. This is the quest for emotional truth. Like, what do I really believe based on the emotional experiences I had as a child that were probably false and wrong, like if you grew up thinking that you weren't good enough or you don't matter, or you have to do this and be this and do whatever to have this love. It's all lies. Those are all lies. And filtering through those false beliefs and turning them into truth is always the way to go. And, I mean, look at this. Wow. So, the moon is really activating a lot today. Oh, and I can't forget to talk about that. So, but let's focus on the moon. Sextiles Mercury. Again, getting inside of the truth about your relationships and the direction you're going. And then Mercury talking to Mars helps to motivate you even more to get to the truth or figure out, like, what's that lie I've been telling myself? What's the lie they're telling me? If you're in a relationship where somebody's not truthful, you're going to figure it out. And then the sextile up here to Jupiter is about healing that and breaking apart that paradigm, those opportunities to be in that natural flow. And then the sun is trining the north node and Uranus, all about freedom, right? I mean, my goodness, it doesn't get any more opportunistic, or you don't have it. I mean, the opportunities are endless here. The sun is moving this direction, right? So when the sun gets to 18 degrees, we're going to have sun trine exact, but we're within that orb of the sun trining Uranus. So this is fantastic. And then, of course, with Mercury still trining Mars, so the sun is, right? I mean, the sun and Mercury together, shining the light on the details, getting clear on what you want. And if there's challenges to the direction you want to go, just sit within the essence of yourself. Just sit with yourself and do that deeper healing work of breathing, bringing in air into your lungs. Mercury's about the lungs. Gemini's about the lungs. Move your hands if you need to. Gemini rules the hands, the lungs. Mercury is all about talking. Use your voice if you need to. But most of all, sit and breathe into the being of yourself, which is everything. Everything is inside of you. And then when you're solid, when you feel really solid, ask yourself some questions. Like, what do I really want? What do I need to heal? If I want this, does that scare me? Like, if I want more intimacy in my life, is that scary? And, when you're working on manifesting, whatever is in the way of getting what you want, of course, that's the work. We always need to look for the obstacles. And the sun is still in that sesqui-square place, and so it can be a little bit stubborn, but I like that because we need to sit and be in ourselves in order to heal and heal our souls. Let's see. Everything else is the same. Yeah, I think that's it. Venus, as it moves, it's going to, we're going to, I think we're going to wind up having a Sun conjunct Venus. Well, wait, hold on. Remember the Mercury Retrograde chart? Let's see. No, that's this week. That's today, actually, or tomorrow. Here's the Mercury Retrograde chart. Yeah, no, that's because the sun moves so quickly. But the sun's at 11, so Venus is 27. Yeah, by the time before Mercury retrograde, we are going to have Sun conjunct Venus, which is wonderful. That'll be really wonderful. That will be very unifying in the core essence, unification of the core essence. That's what's coming up. Yeah, so I think it's as always, it's always a good week for meditation and checking into dream time. I guess that's the best way to close this up. Okay, thanks you guys for hanging in there with me. High five if you got to the end. Bye.